When does it make sense for an organization to build its own data science team, and what is the best approach for this? When we, that is old world computing, carry out an establishment process, we usually also do the technical data science implementation of the first projects on our own. Sooner or later, however, the organization should form its own data science team. Because data science is generally a very valuable capability in organizations, especially since it very rarely stays with a single use case. The first few implemented use cases usually motivate further ones. And all of these use cases that accumulate over time usually need to be maintained as well. Hardly any successful project is ever completely finished. Depending on the exact use case, the prediction performances need to be monitored, or there can be regular changes in the databases, or if part of the result of a use case is a dashboard, there may be a regular need for new functionalities for the end users, and so on. Someone needs to maintain the implemented use cases and carry out further data science projects, which is why in the long run it makes a lot of sense for the company to build its own data science team. One important aspect that we need to consider when building up a data science team is its position in the organization. The data science team needs to be able to efficiently collaborate with pretty much every department. Accordingly, they should stay out of conflicts as much as possible, such as resource conflicts. In addition, the team should have the necessary permissions and competencies to not be too dependent on the IT department. Such a dependence would not only be a bottleneck in the work, since things like database accesses would be necessary for the team quite often, but it's also an unnecessary burden on the IT department and a potential source of conflicts. Let us visualize building the data science team on a timeline. We start by looking at the Lighthouse projects, the very first realized data science projects. At the beginning, it is very likely that the management is still unclear about the benefits of data science and initially don't want to invest too heavily in it. Therefore, the first steps are usually done with the help of external service providers. These implement the Lighthouse projects, and at this point, the management should be able to make a decision on how to proceed with the establishment process. Provided it's then decided that it's worthwhile for the company to build their own data science team, we would first conduct training courses with the team members to further educate them and establish a common ground. This mostly theoretical training is not enough, however. If the team is supposed to execute projects independently of external experts, they need hands-on experience. For this purpose, we are carrying out knowledge transfer projects together with the new team. We try to give team members as much of our experience as possible to enable them to do upcoming projects on their own in the future. And we ensure that they understand the current and past projects enough to maintain them. On the timeline, we visualize the work done by external service providers in blue, which is 100% for the Lighthouse projects, and the work of the newly built data science team in red, which slowly grows over time within the knowledge transfer projects, where the team starts to become more independent. Now, there are a few conditions that we would recommend for the composition of the team. First of all, true to the motto less is more, we suggest starting with a very small team of 1 or 2 members. It's much easier to hire more people afterward than to start with too large a team. However, the few members of the team should be able to devote their full attention to the data science endeavor. Data science mostly is a full-time job, hence they should not be massively burdened by other separate responsibilities. Which is why new hires are usually a good idea for the team. And when hiring people for the new data science team, there are of course certain qualifications that you should pay attention to. Obviously, pre-existing knowledge about data science and about IT in general are very helpful. Another qualification is to be able to explain well and have good diplomatic skills. Data scientists don't work in isolation. They have to cooperate with domain experts and end users and explain concepts and results to the management. Those 2 factors are rather obvious, but one more slightly counterintuitive factor is that we have learned that people who have many years of experience with human learning often have trouble adapting machine learning. This might be slightly counterintuitive, as you might think that people with experience working with data and statistics and learning from them would be good candidates for the team. And of course, this can be true, we are just generalizing here. But often this expertise in learning from data is what can ultimately make these people not let go and have problems with the concept of black box machine learning models. Therefore, this is just something to keep in mind if the team is intended to carry out machine learning projects. At some point, the data science team is independent enough to carry out new projects and maintain old ones, mostly on their own. However, data science and the required infrastructure are complex topics. Therefore, from our point of view, it makes sense to get a second opinion from experienced data scientists from time to time. Once the data science team is sufficiently experienced, more and more use cases can be implemented. The company saves a lot of money in these implementations. On the one hand, because the company can act independently of external service providers during implementation. And on the other hand, because further projects are generally less expensive, since the knowledge that has been built up can be reused. However, the maintenance efforts for the projects carried out so far are increasing. As mentioned already, it's easier to hire additional members for the team at a later stage, and now would be the perfect time to do so if a bigger data science team is required in the long run. Naturally, the members will develop different focuses and interests, which provides a foundation for development into more differentiated roles. At first, there might have been only one or two data scientists playing the role of a jack of all trades, master of none. But now an actual functioning team can develop, with different roles such as different domain expertises, familiarities with big data and necessary tools or techniques, different machine learning or business intelligence specific qualifications, and so on, to meet the requirements of a modern organization. Successfully building an own independent data science team in an organization in which the data science mindset has fully arrived is the conclusion of our standard process. Regardless of whether you follow the SPEDS or have already started on your own, we can guide you through the process of establishing data science. Or we can help you with our standalone services, which are not limited to the execution of data science projects, but cover every phase of the establishment process. Whether you are interested in our services or extensions, or have questions or feedback about the video series or data science in general, please feel free to contact us.